Psygib will definitely be up there, but I still feel Cha1n has been showing slightly more rounded and refined game in recent weeks and this tournament so far.
I'm also going to go ahead and say Cha1n, especially if you look back at recent results. They played in stage 1, 2, and 3, and it was Cha1n who won every single time. Psygib beat him back at QuakeCon, but ever since, everything's been going Cha1n's way, so I do think that he is more likely to walk away with this one.
I think he's got some decent picks as well. Obviously, he's been able to lock in the Doomslayer on Awoken. We've seen how wonderful his Galena can perform on Veil throughout the course of the day and the weekend, I suppose. And you know, he's got that kind of tried and true Anarchy on Molten too. So everything is kind of in place for Cha1n to win this, whether it's previous results, whether it's the veto. I really think that this is really Cha1n's moment. And if he can't rise to the occasion here, I mean, there's really nothing else you can say. He had all the tools available. Now he just needs to finish it.
He does. Like a construction worker, he's just got to finish his job and make his money. Let's find out if he can then, as we're opening it up. Doomslayer for Cha1n versus BJ for Psygib. Our last best of 3 of the day on Awoken. A great map to start it off, and I hope it has some exciting moments, as it's been a banger all round. Ryan, Flea, just absolutely enjoy yourselves.
Thank you. I'm sure to do just that. And yeah, Awoken BJ versus the Doomslayer, one going for the massive damage output, the dual wield, can dual wield every single weapon in the game to push out so much more pain on his opponent, whereas on the other hand, the Doomslayer doesn't really rely on his active ability all that much, the Berserk punches, but instead heavily favors that passive, the double jump, because you get so much additional mobility out of it that gives you a lot of additional shortcuts to get throughout the map.
And one of the major factors is that mobility comes for free. It's not like you have to go for nail jumps, you haven't got to go for rocket jumps. You have this unrivaled mobility at the cost of none of your own resources. But we are loading in now. Looks like the Berserk has already been popped by Cha1n, and that is probably the only time you're going to see the Berserk used the entire map. But it's used to get that instant burst of speed, go to that set value, get the Mega, get out. And now we have the Mega in place. You can start seeing what the rest of it's going to be, but it looks like that kind of early poke game, Tribolt versus Rocket. But now Psygib's actually taking a ton of damage. Tribolt is doing a ton of damage as well. The dual wield rails! Yeah, that one hurts, absolutely. Good shout.
Yeah, Psygib clearly not expecting to still be within range of that as he's backing out of the room, and Cha1n just barely touching him with a few of those bolts, and that's all she wrote to start things off. First frag will be going to the Canadian, who now has a monumental stack to work with as well, already getting set up for the Mega, keeping close watch on the center area of the map, which of course as Doomslayer is so easy to get in and out of. And Cha1n, he's got a pretty good idea for his opponent is, and he wants to deny Rocket and LG to his opponent. We'll make a move onto the Mega. Heavy's about to spawn. Actually, Psygib dropping down to it. Good opportunity for Cha1n to punish. 1 rail, 2 rails. Can he find the 3rd kill shot?
He is looking for it. He's looking to stack back up first. The light just to try and make that a little bit easier. Psygib stuck in a position. Bit of an awkward exchange there for Cha1n. Yeah, caught with the rail, but fortunately for him, I think the quick capitalization swap into the Rocket at the last minute is going to work out for him. Mega is about to spawn, hence Psygib is in there to try and lay that pressure on. That was a fantastic Rocket to hit its mark right after the Mega gets taken. Cha1n, it's going to be kind of tricky for him to now establish towards the Heavy. Unfortunately misses the rail. That means he has to get out of there because Psygib has all the opportunities to come back if he needs to. He's got the stack to work with. Look, he's still looking around. He's going around the side of the map so far. Cha1n digging in towards Mega. And as he is the one in the lead, he's holding that center point of the map. He's going to get all the information that he could ever need, really. He knows the jump pad got used, but at the same time, there's no one pushing forward. LG versus double LG, the strength of BJ. And the dual wield really rearing its ugly head there. That rail, fantastic.
That was such a risky, aggressive push from Psygib. If Cha1n had just jumped towards him, even with normal machine gun, he would have died there for sure. But he was banking on the fact that Cha1n would just want to get a hold of the heavy armor, and he got himself off a nice opening shot. So good play, but taken by surprise here, and Cha1n appearing out of nowhere. And that's one of those angles that we're talking about when you're playing the Doomslayer, right? You can just catch your opponent by surprise, and Psygib not ready for that at all. Will fall again. Does manage to take away the Heavy though.
It can definitely mess up your kind of risk assessment when you're expecting someone to be somewhere at a set time. The fact that, that's a nice Rocket, the fact that Doomslayer has a lot more creativity in that regard. It's like you already have to think about so much on a match-by-match basis. Doom's mobility and where he's going to be just adds to the stress levels. Really good combo, 100 plus 90. Perfection in that fight. And Cha1n makes it 5-1.
Cha1n's combo kills have been so good this map already. Time and time again, he's just chaining together a lot of this damage, and no, that was not an intended pun. Good rockets coming out as well. Psygib left screamingly low, has to get out of the room. Cha1n is gonna look for the sneaky rail, just hold his position. Psygib, clever route right there, fighting his way out of the room, but still hurting with no armor to his name.
Entry rocket damage. The biggest thing is that Psygib, that was a risky rail. Thankfully, he was able to live to fight another day. Shot didn't hit its mark. Cha1n's the one that controls things at the moment. That is some decent damage from the rocket, but while Psygib has to disengage and lick his wounds, he's not really in a position to stop Cha1n from taking any of these. Looks like we see some damage coming through again, but Cha1n holding these defensive angles, giving himself as much cover as possible. Needs to keep his eyes on the mega location. It's going to be one shot. Psygib's objective now, get some armor, and I actually love that play from Cha1n. He makes the perfect call out that Psygib's going to go towards light armor, and he's bang on the money. This Tribolt now. Oh, scary stuff, but he misses the shot. Caught swapping weapons. Rail's going to delete him. Impressive that Psygib could turn that around. Yeah, Cha1n was pushing a bit too hard, too close to the Sun Flea.
I understand the idea behind this push, of course, but after he took that first rail and was below the railable threshold, he should not have gone back out for the Tribolt, because Tribolt is so inconsistent when you put it next to a railgun. And of course, Psygib, so well known for his raw combat skills, is going to hit those shots more often than not. Psygib again pushing in the dual LG, beautiful positioning right there, using the tiny little ledge next to the cold dead waters of Awoken to just put himself out of harm's way. One rail, two rail, but Cha1n has enough stack to work with and just pushes on through to get himself another frag on the board.
Prediction rockets are pretty damn good there. Psygib is weak and unable to fight for the Mega, which is now spawned. Cha1n's going to run in and quickly soak that up. There should be some armor down here. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. But with Heavy about to spawn and Psygib fresh off the spawn, he's going to have a rocket perhaps. But is that all he's got access to? Is that one of the reasons Cha1n is being so aggressive here? Because he knows that the rocket's all he has to fear.
Excellent positioning, center of the map. Psygib now trying to slip through those Tribolts to put himself on the Mega. Takes a decent amount of damage. The dual railgun, very impressive, because that's so difficult to hit as it throws your natural timing off so much. Psygib is going to capitalize off of that situation. Just jumps down for the kill shot. 4 frags behind. It's a fair bit, but on Awoken, things can change rather quickly.
Psygib doesn't want to give up this Heavy with that fight. Really would much prefer hitting that initial rail damage. Cha1n's able to get the Heavy. Psygib's going to relocate. Mega's the next objective, and he soaks it up. With 6.5 minutes already down. A lot of patience coming out from Psygib here. Doesn't need to push too hard yet, but the patience from Cha1n, ready for the angle. He's pretty much lived in the center of this map for the vast majority of it. And now Cha1n's looking for more of those angles once more. 3 seconds away from the Heavy. And that's where Psygib's got his eyes locked on, and Cha1n's ready for the rail for another time in a row. Cha1n's demonstrate, like, I've loved his positioning today. Across pretty much every opponent, he's always been just where he needs to be to get that easy rail.
Been a bit of a stalemate for a while now, though. Still 4 frags behind for Psygib, and more than a minute has passed since he needs to step up the pace if he wants to still have a shot at winning the first map in this series. Definitely outstacking his opponent. He's got a nice rotation set up as well, but Cha1n is playing a very nice and evasive game, relying so much on that mobility with the Doomslayer. Good shots as well. Psygib, nice retaliation there, though. This might be an opportunity. But he misses the ever so important shot right there. And time just keeps on ticking away.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult now. Dual Will's been forced, and he is going to go for the aggressive overdrive, but again, it's more about what does it accomplish. There's that click. Oh, you know what's worse than a click? Click into death, mate. 2 minutes on the clock. This is a scary time for Psygib to concede a frag in that manner. With a Cha1n that's just looking so comfortable, catches the rocket around the corner, does a bunch of damage, but again, it's not enough with the time that is left. By all accounts, Cha1n has this one in the bag. And how comfortable he's looked, Flea. At no point has Psygib been able to really force anything onto him. Cha1n has been the one, and the double jump usage has been phenomenal for that, but he's kind of lived in this center mass. Just waits for the information, gets the rails where necessary. A lot of these fights, Psygib hasn't really been able to get much effort from the dual wield or anything like that. Just all round, Cha1n's look comfortable.
I think that at this point we can safely say that it's about GG.
Oh yeah.
Minute left to go, 6 frags, and Cha1n is looking absolutely insurmountable. I love the double backs too. He's gotten several frags like that already, just giving Psygib the impression that it's safe to push in and chase him down, and then he just turns it right back around, flips it upside down in his opponent's face, and Psygib just keeps on dying. 7 frags of a lead. Cha1n looking extremely strong.
Apologies, I had to just go sneeze a couple of times. My bad. Didn't want to sneeze into the mic. 3-11. This is very much victory lap territory for Cha1n. These frags are all just the typical bonus frags you get at the end. That's exactly why you see the berserk. Maybe I spoke too soon at the start of the map, but yeah, that really kind of hammers home that this was a dominant map win for Cha1n. When you're forced into a position like Psygib was, where, okay, so now I need to start being aggressive, time isn't on my side, it will snowball in this manner. You know, you can look at the 3-13 score, but the reality is the map was officially over a few frags before that.
Oh yeah, absolutely beautiful plays from Cha1n, and Psygib just, it felt like he was trailing the entire way through. At no point did it really seem like he was able to pressure his opponent. He had less item picks up, he had less damage done, constantly outplayed, and Cha1n just used that extra mobility so nicely, even going as far as giving us a nice little berserk punch frag for the finish.
Icing on the cake, Flea. That's what that is. But I mean, it was an extremely dominant map number 1, and it's always nice to see that Cha1n is bringing that extra form forward. I know we were quite concerned about him throughout the course of the day. I can't really say much about his B stream games, because a lot of the time when he's playing, you just weren't in a position to watch them. Yeah. But in the matches that he's played on the primary stream, there's been like a level of inconsistency there. Again, it doesn't really seem like that has existed so far in this series, to the point where now we're going into Veil of Nath, a map that Cha1n has been doing quite well on as of late, but also down to the fact that his combat is looking good. His reads on Psygib have been phenomenal. He's made a couple of tricks. He's, like you said it yourself, he's been kind of returning in some of these fights where Psygib was pushed forward, and then guess what? Cha1n's right there, and he's set that rocket trap off, and the rest of it is history. In Veil of Nath, hopefully, for Psygib's sake, Cha1n's not able to simply kind of just continue that, but this would be one hell of a 2-0 if he's able to land it.
I almost feel like this map ended far too quickly. After all the insane overtimes we've been having time and time again, it's like, oh yeah, these maps actually are supposed to end after 10 minutes. Not after 15, not after 20, not after 25. Just a normal 10-minute map. Feels a little bit refreshing, and definitely no need to drag that one out any longer than it did, because of course Cha1n showed us a very dominant performance.
Just going through a lot of these replays, we ended up reaching a point where there's not really much that can be done. It was really around this point, when it was 4-8 within 2 minutes. You know, there's always some sort of hope that you can get 4 frags in 2 minutes time, but again, Cha1n, rock solid placement of himself. And he's ready for the rail angles. That last little bonus frag, just for the highlight reel, that little berserk, I think. You very rarely see that, but I think a 2-0 would be kind of bizarre, really. You almost feel like we've spent an entire stage 3 leading up into this moment. If you're a fan of either of these two players, you know, this has been the question you've been trying to see answered week after week, and we're so close to it, Flea.
Absolutely, and this is an important matchup for both of these players. Whoever wins this series moves on into the finals day tomorrow, where they get to fight alongside the 5 other best players in the entire world to see who can take home their chunk of that $50,000 prize pool. And just before we jump into the next map, I do want to let everyone know to please share that this is going on. Get on Twitter, get your mom, your friends, get everyone involved. This is some amazing Quake we've got going on. This is the hashtag Quake Pro League, and we're about to jump into our second map of the series between Psygib versus Cha1n.
It's a good time to watch it, and it is, by all means, the final time to watch it today. It's certainly been a decent day of games, and so many of us would probably expect to see this one go down to a final map, just for Psygib's sake above all else. I think it would be so poetic to go to that final map scenario, but really depends on how much of a hold Cha1n gets on things early, because he kind of ruled that map with an iron fist, didn't he, on Awoken? And we're going from one small map into another. Veil of Nath definitely is its own beast, very teleporter heavy, and we're getting Keel versus Galena. I'm eyeing up that Galena pick from Cha1n. When you combine his Galena on this map, he's looked really solid on that. But looking at Psygib with the Keel kind of makes me feel a little bit nostalgic over the 2v2 days. I used to love watching Psygib's Keel in 2v2.
That said though, I am a bit worried for Psygib because this is one of Cha1n's best maps. He's had such a good track record on Veil, and it's going to be quite interesting to see how Psygib deals with that. Yes, he's got the additional stack, yes, he's got the grenades to boot, but he's also a much larger target, and we know that Cha1n has been using that railgun to its fullest extent.
Was this not the exact champion matchup that Cha1n received a 79% rail accuracy on this map earlier today?
I actually do think so, yeah. It was Galena versus the Keel, indeed. 78% is what it was. So, really insane percentage of accuracy on that map. Let's see if Cha1n can deliver once again.
Missed it by 1%. Good casting there, Ryan.
Unbelievable. Can I please have Jackie or Dan take over?
I'm fired. It's over. Pack it in. But Psygib's working on a fat stack already. Cha1n is in that rather tricky situation, but with it being 10 seconds away from Heavy, I think even though he could technically get in there and press, establishing the center of this map is also an important objective. Because if Psygib can keep a strong level of control over these two items, I mean, it is that sort of natural Heavy versus everyone else style. You can take so much punishment, and punishment Psygib is receiving. He is going to be in place for the Mega, and he's taken the 2 items away, but somehow Cha1n still looks like the one that is more comfortable. He's dealt so much damage in a short space of time. You can tell why Psygib is trying to prioritize max stack above all else. He's showing a lot of respect to that damage from Cha1n.
Cha1n, going for a bit of a sneaky totem right there. Can't quite get it down. Falls right back down. You know what he was going for, right? Trying to hide it on top of one of these ledges so that his opponent wouldn't miss it on the pass-by and get himself that overstack heal going. So far, a pretty slow game. No frags just yet. Psygib has got the stack advantage. Picked up the Mega as well, and now Heavy is up in 10 seconds. I like what Psygib is doing right now. I think he's got a pretty good idea of where Cha1n is at. He's right below him. Psygib dropping down. Cha1n catches the shadow. Things accelerate quite quickly. Cha1n will drop down. The LG is sublime coming out of Psygib. Can he get himself onto the Heavy as well? No, but he does a massive amount of damage with that rocket there.
Tries to get a little bit more of the rocket damage down towards rocket spawn. Unfortunately hits the top of the archway, which is not good for him, given what he's trying to earn back here. Mega's going to be in his favor, keeping that stack nice and high. As we kind of talked about earlier, this map is such a brawl fest. Just go swinging at each other, but Cha1n also looking pretty damn good himself. Actually keeping an eye on the X-rays too. He's got a couple of totems placed down near rail spawn. I am curious to see how long Psygib can go before answering back. Gonna get some more of that damage. Chase Cha1n. Cha1n comfortable to set up shop down near rail angle. Psygib's going to make chase, and even with that health bubble, that's going to be all she wrote. Doesn't want to waste too much time though, so there are still going to be some totems alive and kicking near rail side.
And that frag also came at a very nice time for Psygib. Had a small armor and a Mega right behind him to get stacked way back up. Looks like he will be conceding the Heavy though, or at least do a lot of damage on Cha1n. Cha1n getting pinned up against the wall, but Psygib himself pretty low. Rockets have to be beautiful right now, and Cha1n misses the kill shot. Psygib will hang on just a moment longer. Picks another bad rail though. Cha1n, does he want to commit to this? Can he find the angle through the grate? What a pixel perfect rail right there for the Canadian, shutting down the keel for the first time this map.
One hell of a way to potentially bring yourself back into the fight, that's for sure. And now he's repositioning those totems. He's trying to cover a lot more of those top level angles through those teleporters that often are so popular on this map. And now Cha1n keeping an eye out on that timer. We can see 13 seconds left, and I'm absolutely positive Cha1n has some pretty damn good timing on all of them so far. Psygib's going to go down. Pretty damn good time to go down. Now 3 seconds left until that mega spawns. But actually, due to a pretty damn decent spawn, Psygib's able to go up there and take it anyway. Not too shabby.
Absolutely not. Tied up once again, 2-2. Cha1n definitely does not want this to go to a third map. Some excellent rails right there. Oh, taking the grenade on the down low as he was dropping way back down. Psygib smells blood. Does he want to push for this? Probably not, because that LG would be so punishing. Instead,
A little bit.
give Cha1n a bit more breathing room.
I don't think I've ever quite seen someone shoot a pineapple, bounce off the wall, and then land on someone's head from the side before, but I guess it was a first time for everything.
I mean, we've had 25-minute overtimes earlier, so anything can happen at this point. Yeah, absolutely the case. Now, Cha1n massively outstacked. Look at that difference. Psygib, not even just the naturally more stacked character, but he's also got both Mega and Heavy to his name. Cha1n, his defensive plays will have to be solid right now.
We can see how defensive he's approaching. He's consistently having rail on hand if he's nearly out in the open. There's a rocket there too. Not particularly interested in going for these brawls. He knows he has to get a ton of that health down first. But that's the strength of Keo and other heavies, is their ability to just soak up punishment before the fight even begins. Cha1n's not going to quite have that same luxury, although he does have the totem to drop in the middle of the fight if he wants to. And that light armor to bring him up to a normal 100. And the totem to give him 100 health. But even then, he's having to concede a ton of control, so Psygib is not worried, and that rail is excellent to guarantee himself the mega. No way Cha1n can fight for it.
Cha1n right now has to try and avoid getting stuck in these small parts of the map, because that is where Psygib will thrive. He's got the stack advantage. He can just take that raw, brutal brawl using the grenades as well. So Cha1n's lifeblood right now is going to be landing those sneaky rails from a distance, just like that. Unfortunately for him, it was a miss, but those are the situations that he wants to seek out right now. Play it from a distance, keep landing those rail shots, and keep culling your opponent's stack up until you find the opportunity to steal an item of your own. Psygib is going to be pushing in. Totem will be taken out instantly. This is bad for Cha1n. The defensive rockets are solid.
Oh!
Manages to dodge, or rather Psygib missing the rail right there. That would have been the end. Cha1n still keeping it a tight game for now.
Pretty sure I felt that rail slide past my ear in real time. An aggressive Psygib is looking for his moment. He's just unable to hit that last final rail to get the job done. He might not even need it at this stage, but somehow Cha1n is still alive and kicking. I cannot believe he has survived as long as he has. And he's not out of the woods yet. He has no armor. And the light's not even there to take. This is a very scary position if you're in Cha1n's shoes.
Yeah.
Heavy has spawned, but how can he even fight for it? He can't fight for a heavy with no armor. Psygib's right there. Are you mad?
Psygib giving a lot of respect to Cha1n right now, though, because he knows that he takes these engagements, takes a lot of damage in return, and instead of pushing through and putting himself in a dangerous situation, he knows that he's got a rotation and the cycle of the items going in his favor. Every time he feels like he's getting low, he just dips back out and goes right back in after stacking back up.
The defensive rockets, they've only just hit their mark, but now they're starting to add up in between those rail shots. Cha1n saves his skin again. How many times Fleers? He's been so weak, the tactical rocket jump to get that big boost of speed manages to beat Psygib to the punch.
I mean, it's one of the hallmarks of the best players in the world, right? Just using those small speed mechanics to get yourself around the map even quicker. We see Rafa do it, we see Vangur do it. A lot of the players that are qualified for the finals tomorrow have been pulling off these kinds of moves. Look at this, Cha1n actually bringing Psygib down to a railable stack. This is his opportunity. With less than 2 minutes on the clock, he could make something huge happen right here. Psygib shows his face. I don't think he meant to do that. Cha1n, can he make anything happen?
That one rail was a massive opportunity for Cha1n because now he controls the center of this map. He spent a lot of this map kind of being the one that's a little bit out of control, at least when it comes to the center point. Psygib has been dominating himself around there, just getting the damage on deck, doing enough to force Cha1n away. Cha1n's kind of lived roughly around Mega, but now he's the one that really controls both of them. However, Psygib's doing a great job of bringing that stack back up. The totems are going to drop, so Cha1n's not going to have that backup plan. But again, hourglass time. We need those totems. We need to contest with the stack that Psygib's building up.
Yeah.
He was so close to being taken out, and then Cha1n would have had all the momentum on his side to take this one through. A little bit of spam around the corner. Cha1n's going to fall victim to it. Oh, the rails. That one hurts. Yeah, yes, make sure that one misses. Don't get tagged. Heavy's going to spawn, but it's risky for Cha1n to stick around. You can see Psygib, he is simply forcing himself on this. Because if he gets the heavy now, he can take the fight. If he goes for a fight, especially after that rail, he very well might be able to win this map. There is a ton of... Cha1n! No! Jumps right into a very happy and hungry Psygib, waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah, that was such a misplay. I think he figured that Psygib would try to come up from the middle level of the map instead. And no, Psygib just went down through the middle, across the rocket room, and Cha1n just dropped right in front of him, giving him probably the freest frag we've seen all game. Absolutely didn't need to go for that, but he was solo to begin with, and now Cha1n, he knows 5 seconds left. This is over and done with.
GG's for Psygib. He's going to tie things up right here. And just like that, to a lot of people's wish, I suppose, for our final series of the day, we are going into a Game 3. The final map, the decider situation. And Psygib, up until the final moment, just... I mean, they were both playing well. It's just that crucial moment right at the end. Cha1n just drops down. Psygib's right in front of him. Made the decision, just wasn't the right one.
I mean, you had to make a decision there, right? Cha1n had such little stack to work with, was down to his final sliver of health, so he had to go somewhere, get himself some resources. You obviously can't just stay on that side of the map because you know that that's exactly where Psygib's heading for. So you have to go and just pick a path, and unfortunately for him, he got the read wrong. Psygib went exactly in the one spot where Cha1n did not want him to show up, and that made for a very quick and unexpected finisher after what seemed like a comeback in the works for Cha1n, because for the last minute or two, he was actually the one in charge, running the show, dishing out the damage. But either way, looks like we will be moving into our final map, not just of this series, but of the entire day. Chat, the winner determines who moves on into the finals tomorrow, so please let us know, who are you rooting for? Is it Psygib? Is it Cha1n? Will Canada be happy, or are we going to get another American in the finals?
I mean, it almost feels a little bit like maybe even that drop down, like I don't want to use the term wasn't intentional because I don't want to call it out incorrectly in such a crucial moment, but there's something about the way he jumped down there where he was so close to hitting the second floor, or I guess the first floor, if I've got my floors correct, that he like narrowly missed it. There was a part of my brain that was like, did he mean to go all the way down there? But either way, it's in the past now, and Psygib capitalized, and that's what matters. So we're going into a Molten Falls, our final map of the day. To everyone that's been watching us from the very beginning of the stream, thank you so much for sticking around, and it's all going to amount to the final map between Psygib and Cha1n. Only one of these players is moving on. The eternal storyline that is growing. Which player has that top 3 mantle of Americas? This map is going to answer that question, Flea.
And this looks like it's going to be a pretty fast and explosive map too. We have got an Anarchy Master of Air Control going up against Psygib on the Stroke. So he's also going to have the crouch slide as well as the peeker to work with this time around.
Both players are going to have access to that high mobility. The Anarchy, who had just collected some hourglasses, it looks like, with his cooldowns zipping as fast as they did. But the opening damage from Psygib, more than respectable. Ton of LG, Cha1n forced to retreat. But it looks like the Heavy's the first item that's going to appear on the map. And there's that crouch slide factor. How fast Psygib can just zip around. Almost completely a coast-to-coast situation. And now Cha1n is trying to at least make sure that Mega doesn't get taken unpunished. Neither player able to hit their rail, so the only victory that belongs there is that Psygib got himself yet another item, and there's a massive delay between the two to boot.
Happy will indeed be the first item to spawn. Cha1n's got a good positioning, but one rail could make either player retreat. Peeker will be taken down. Really liking the play from Psygib right there, but he is punished for his move a lot. 2 rails for his troubles, that's gotta hurt. But I do like what he was up to, sending out the Peeker to take the shot and then just dropping down before his opponent could switch or react with another weapon. Really nice play, but the rails were so good. Oh, off the map he goes!
What is it with this goddamn map and those goddamn ringouts?
I mean, that was such a strange engagement to begin with, because you could clearly tell that he absolutely thought that Psygib was just ledge grabbing going up the bounce pad, right? He shot down right on the floor, whereas Psygib was flying above him, and then he just had to adjust on the fly, shot Psygib, but of course, the splash sent him flying backwards off the map as well. So we're back to a 0-0 scoreline.
You love to hate to see it, don't you? But all about how you capitalize, and we remain in a 0-0 position. Heavy's the next objective. Both players looking to enforce Pika's downtime. Bit of a risky drop down there from Psygib. Can he escape with his life? An aggressive Cha1n says, no you can't, sir.
Good amount of LG damage coming out of Cha1n right there. Psygib, he had to do something. Sticking around would have meant a guaranteed death, so I can appreciate the rocket jump, but Cha1n's tracking was absolutely on point. Managed to net him the kill as well. Good amount of rocket damage now too. Cha1n's gotta be careful though. He's in a good position to take this one, hopefully before Heavy is picked up. And indeed, he is rewarded with not just the frag, but also the heavy armor as well.
Looking for those rails, Cha1n's able to hit one. The Pika. Now that Pika definitely served its purpose of keeping Psygib alive, and it wasn't for damage. It was to summon the Pika, get the rail out, and then during rail's downtime, get in and take that Mega, and we can survive the next one. I quite like that play from Psygib, to be honest.
Clever plays indeed. Definitely has been taking a note out of the Hangs book. One of the original Peeker players in Quake. Both players pretty low right now though. No one eager to take a fight just yet. Will be Psygib to pick up the Mega. This could be a little bit disturbing for Cha1n. Doesn't have much to work with. He's even going to pop the injection preemptively just to get himself up a little bit higher in fighting shape. He gets pinned up against the wall though, stays within the confines of the map, but the rail finds him on the way down. And that'll be Psygib putting himself on the board at last. Still, 6 minutes left in this map, 1 frag down, entirely possible for Psygib.
Now Mega's going to spawn and be instantly soaked up there from Psygib. We are reaching a point now where one pickup, one at a time. It's very common on Molten Falls that someone tries to control both of them, but Cha1n hasn't been able to get his hands on the armor for quite a while. It's going to make things quite difficult. He has got the Lightning Mega, thankfully. And he's just been able to get himself a rocket too. So we're going back into that patient game. He knows that Psygib has run around and he's just taken heavy. So Psygib's going to have a massive stack to work with. Bringing us back to that game where he's looking for as many long-range angles as he can find. He does manage to find one of them. It's going to shut down the Mega to a slight extent, but not enough just yet. The important thing for Cha1n is that he's just making sure he's in the right positions to get the damage before any of these fights break out. You know, Psygib is the one that is navigating around. Cha1n is the one that is trying to just be in a position to get that initial damage first, but he's been bullied away from the heavy thanks to an aggressive Pika from Psygib. And now with this Mega about to spawn, can Cha1n even risk taking this? It looks to me like he's content giving it up. As long as he maintains this lead and he just chips away at Psygib, maybe he can build the frustration factor or something very similar. Reality is he's holding on to this lead for dear life and he does not want to give it up.
Absolutely, this is indeed the deciding map, of course. Winner moves on, loser is out of this tournament. Heavy will be going towards Psygib. I like how Cha1n is dealing with this. Careful, patient plays right here. Gotta give up the Mega as well. I think he's got a really good idea. He heard that rocket jump, knows exactly when the Mega health was taken. Gonna play a bit of a passive game right now. He's waiting for his opportunity, and that is a good way to start it. One rail, can he land some more? Okay, that
was a beautiful placement too. Get the rocket into instant teleport, and I was going to point out, look at how much range Cha1n is giving Psygib too. That really shows an understanding of Strog and Psygib's ability to just pounce on him with that high-speed crouch slide. But Cha1n, he's looking for range, and he's looking for opportunities to land damage, but hang on, the Pika, that's going to give up at least a free rail. Ledge grab, good stuff, and a flick midair from Cha1n. Absolutely beautiful stuff. He's playing this so carefully and so well that it's an alarming situation. Another rocket out of nowhere. Psygib can't feel good about that one.
Absolutely not. That predictive rocket right there, just expecting Psygib to be hungry for the damage and going for the peak with the rail. Cha1n shutting that down just like that, and now all the pressure is on the American player. He's got 3 minutes for 3 frags, and he has to try and chase down an Anarchy, one of the absolute fastest champions in the pool. Bit of peaker damage coming through, but he was definitely hoping for more. What is Psygib doing? Just brawling it out. Came close to at least a trade, but he will be the only one to go down. And once again, this is not something you see every day, but the second time in the same map, Psygib dropping back down to 0 frags.
Cha1n is in a phenomenal position now. He's already established that if he wants to evade Psygib and he wants to play that ranged game, he is more than able to, because it's how he set the wheels in motion for that first frag that started this whole train of momentum. But now, the ball's in his court. He's no longer the one that's having to just look for that safety factor. You know, he was playing this way when he was only 1 frag up, let alone the fact that it's now 4-0. But now he has a massive lead, and we've already established that this technique is working wonders. That was a really good shot.
Fly by rail to the max. Cha1n has to retreat from that one. Wrong weapon out, unfortunately for him. Could have dealt a lot of punishing damage right there. But now Cha1n, I think he's starting to switch into a really defensive and passive playstyle. He knows, 2 minutes left, I've got a 4 frag lead. Cha1n, don't mess this up. You know that's what he's telling himself right now. Doesn't want to put himself out there and take any risks, instead just zooming around the map as Anarchy, looking to collect some of these small armors instead.
It's going to be remarkable if Psygib's able to pull this one out of the bag. This is quite the impossible ask this late on in the tournament. This little time left on this final map. And Cha1n, the danger flea is that Cha1n has established for 8 minutes and 30 seconds that this defensive style has been working wonders. And now Psygib has so much more work to do. And he's already shown that he's struggling to really crack into this armor that Cha1n has been able to wear for himself. We are going to see an opening rail. Psygib knows he has to be aggressive. There's no plan B. We have to go in. We have to get a frag, and we have to get it now. He is going to get a rail, but Cha1n, plenty of resources to undo the damage.
Still got a run though. Mega health will be going his way as well. Psygib will regret that. Any resource that Cha1n can take right now is obviously going to make it all that more difficult for Psygib to mount the comeback. Rockets have to be good. Out comes DLG. He gets himself 1 frag, but needs 3 more in 50 seconds. And Cha1n will have the better stack off the spawn.
Yeah, we have to factor in the fact that Psygib is also very weak. Even these 4 seconds that he's having to spend to get heavy is 4 risky seconds, considering there's only 30 seconds left of this map to get 3 frags. He's able to catch out the jump pad, catches Cha1n off guard, but no, the trade!
No.
Rest in peace. This map's finished.
I think that was 3 suicides for Psygib this game. Quite exceptional and unfortunate, because if those would have gone slightly differently, things could have turned out entirely different. Psygib still landing some shots, but both players know this is the end. Cha1n will be the one to take home the 2-1 win as he moves into the finals day tomorrow.
Absolutely fantastic result for Cha1n, and the question currently is answered. Cha1n has been on one hell of a grind in stage 3, and he's been personally gunning for that top 3 spot for so long, and very happy to see that he's finally reached it. The grind pays off. You know what I mean? It's all about the fact that Cha1n went into the even stage 1 of Pro League, a very hungry competitor, and he's been just on such a high amount of personal growth to reach this point. Fantastic result. We'll see him tomorrow.
I mean, I think that towards the beginning of the Quake Pro League, people generally thought that, you know, okay, you've got Rafa on the hang 1 and 2, and then for third place you might have Cha1n, you might have Nose, or you might have Psygib. That was what a lot of people were thinking. But I think that after the matches that we've seen today and yesterday, it's very clear that Cha1n, at least for the time being, is the one that firmly deserves that third place spot, and all three of them are moving on into the finals tomorrow.
But it's been a long day for them. It's been a long day for the players, and they've risen to the occasion. And all you can really say about that is that they gave us the close back and forth that I think a lot of people were hoping to see. It does show that skill gap is it's right there. It's barely existing. You know, the fact that we talk about top 3 a lot, but I think 3 to 4 and, you know, gradually as we go, that's a very fine line for Cha1n, absolutely within the top 3.
Yeah, beautiful stuff across the board. Obviously, Psygib was able to get that map in the middle to at least draw it out to the third and final decider, but Molten was just all Canadian territory. That man looked damaging on it, and he took it with absolute prowess. At this point, we do know exactly how tomorrow is going to look then. Basically, we've been able to figure out and decipher where everyone is going. Today has been full of upsets galore, but I think this result of Cha1n with the win over Psygib is at least one of the more consistent ones.
Yes, absolutely. He looked good, and having caught up with him a bit in Poland, he obviously wasn't, well, he wasn't very confident in his standing and his placing and belief of how good he actually was. And I know a lot of the other pros and observers of the game have huge respect and see a lot of potential in him. So I think 2 consistently high placing results at the very best event in the world should give him the much needed boost he needs to continue that progression to becoming potentially number 2 NA for the time being. He's already taken out some of the best in the world in Europe. He's continuing that trend by taking out some of the best in the world in NA.
And he's beaten the Hang in the past, numerous times even. So it's very clear that if the Hang is kind of struggling, as I think all of us agreed that he was today, a bit rusty on the aim, Cha1n absolutely has a decent shot at overtaking him.
I think the longer the day has gone on too, the crispier Cha1n has looked. He definitely made us all worry at the start of the day in those early stages, but the longer he's gone through and the more games he's been playing, the more refined I think he's become, to the point where throughout this series, this was the Cha1n that we were hoping to see.
Yeah, he just got all the ingredients to be a top player. His aim is crisp, his strategy is good, he has a great balance of defense and offense. I enjoy watching him a lot.
He is fun to watch. He is definitely good, and that's the bigger picture to it, right? Is like in terms of consistency, it's a good thing he turned up here now. It wasn't a blip. It was a damn right deserved victory in the end. He now moves on into Championship Sunday, where the competition is only going to get harder. He's going to play against Europe's finest. Did well, as you were saying before, Dan, on LAN when he had to play against some of our European powerhouses before, but that was over 12 weeks ago. How is he going to be feeling going into the competition online against them when we get our cross-region play tomorrow?
Sure, he'll be fine, mate.
I mean, there's no getting around the fact that it will be a tough challenge for him. This is going to be his toughest challenge since Stage 2 finals. The caliber of opponents he's going to be going up against cannot be an easy task, but the storyline of Cha1n has been his personal growth and his rise to, you know, to reach a level that we've never really seen him reach before in Quake Champions. And if he is on top form, I would be very curious to see if he's got what it takes to bring it to the rest of the people that have made it this far in the tournament. This truly will be the best of the best.